everyone says there's no manual for this sort of stuff.
I have a hard time believing that something will be able to beat YouTube.
I feel like content creation really is the future of advertising in general.
Hopefully this will be something useful for anyone at any stage in their YouTube or creator journey. Hello and welcome to the very first ever episode of Creators Uncut. Super excited to be here. I'm Spencer. I'm your host, and I am here with my business partner and wife, Julie.
Hey, excited to be here.
Yeah, so this first episode, we kind of thought that we would explain a little bit about this podcast show and what our vision is for it, what we want it to be about, and how it could help you as a listener or a watcher on YouTube. So Julie is actually the producer of this show. So maybe tell the listeners kind of what you had envisioned for this podcast show.
Yeah, definitely. And it's super weird being in front of the camera instead of behind the scenes. So yeah, new experiences, but we're really excited. My background is in audio and podcast production. I worked a job for several years helping clients produce podcasts, and one of our most successful shows, it was a kind of a thought leadership podcast where, you know, our host would go on and talk all about what they were the experts on and bring on guests that were also experts. And it really blossomed into something super cool. It created kind of this community for listeners to learn and, kind of connect with each other. But then also I watched the host develop themselves. Like through this show, they were able to connect better with, people that they might potentially work with someday. So I think as we put together this show, we really want to create a community of YouTubers, of content creators, of anyone just looking to tell their story and put it online and have it be successful. Because I think that's the hard part these days when there's so much out there. It's like, how do you help yourself stand out? So that's kind of my vision. I don't know. What do you think, Spencer?
Yeah, and going along with that, also like having YouTubers share their experiences, because I feel like every YouTuber, does things slightly differently, and what may work for one person may not work for someone else. And so kind of sharing ideas on this show will hopefully give you inspiration or ideas for things that you could try on your own YouTube channel that may help you be even more successful. So I completely agree.
Yeah. And as we've talked to, our clients and other YouTubers, people we work with, something I hear over and over and over as we're asking, how did your video do? Why was it so successful? What do you think helped? And everyone says there's no manual for this sort of stuff. Like you have to kind of just do it and hope for the best. So I'm hoping too that this show can kind of turn into that manual, as manual as you can get with something that is
right. Yeah.
hard to nail down, because it is so variant on so many different factors. I feel like the algorithm is always changing to reflect content consumption habits, because everyone consumes content differently. And with the birth of shorts, I feel like that completely changed the landscape of YouTube and all social media. So just kind of watching those algorithms change and how creators can adapt to those changes so that they can still be successful, even if maybe what they did 5 years ago is now not working anymore.
Yeah, definitely. I agree.
I'm super excited. I think this will be super valuable. I'm excited to learn from our listeners and our guests too. Like, I think I know quite a bit about YouTube. I consume a lot of content, as I feel like most people in our generation does.
So do I.
Yeah, we're YouTube addicts, which, I mean, I guess that means we're in the right field. But getting to learn more behind the scenes, because you can only produce so much YouTube content yourself. And, we have our channel, and Spencer has a side channel that maybe he'll talk a little bit about, but and then we have our clients, but that pool is only so wide, it's like 10, 15 people at this point that we can be like, hey, how do you YouTube? And they can tell us how they YouTube. But hopefully through this show, we'll get, hundreds and hundreds of people sharing their experiences. And I'm excited to learn a lot more from, just doing the show.
Yeah, definitely. I agree. I think that is what intrigues me most about doing this show is all of the things that I will be able to learn and to grow and maybe apply ourselves
Yeah.
for this show that we're creating.
Yeah, I think a good example for that too is we actually already recorded the episode after this, so stay tuned for that. But as we were putting together this show and kind of setting up the foundation and the infrastructure on where to live online, I know we applied some tips from that next episode to our channels and to how we're structured and some things that I didn't even know, even just doing the very first episode with a guest.
Yeah, it's super cool. So Julie kind of mentioned this a little bit earlier, but what we do here at Creator Lux is we, help YouTubers create content. So I have a bachelor's in digital cinema or filmmaking, and I specialize in video editing. So the clients that I work with, I edit their videos and help them produce more content. And Julie is an audio person. She knows all
Yep.
things audio.
Yeah, kind of the dream team. Whenever we meet people and tell them what we do, they're like, oh my gosh, you guys should start a business. And we're like, well, yes, we did.
Check.
Because, yeah, they definitely go great together. So it's been super fun getting to work with Spencer and see how talented he is with video. And I love, my favorite part about audio is doing audio for video. So I think this has been kind of the dream setup, of him coming to me with some kind of wacky audio problem that a client sent us. They're like, can you fix this? And I'm like, most of the time I say yes. And that's really exciting because I feel like not every editor has quite that intensive of, restoration and audio experience. So that's been cool to be able to offer that to our clients.
Yeah. And we've been doing this for a couple of years now on our own for our own business. And
Yeah.
it's been really exciting and fun to do. Learned a lot. And like we mentioned earlier, with this show, hopefully we'll learn a lot more.
Yeah. I think so. We got our start about 3 years ago when Spencer was at a different video editing place that shall not be named for respect of them, but decided that he wanted to go off on his own. And I had my traditional 9-to-5 desk job editing podcasts all day long for a company and decided it was a good time for him to kind of jump off on his own. And we had some super amazing clients as our first clients that were able to support us and kind of get us through that first painful growth stage of figuring out how to run a business, but also how to grow. And I think that's something we're still, working on. And then about 3 months ago, I took the plunge and decided I was ready to work for myself too. And now we're doing this full time and helping creators and YouTubers live their dream as we're living out our dream. And it's really been fun so far.
Because we really see like YouTube being the future. I have a hard time believing that something will be able to beat YouTube in that specific space. Like there will be other websites similar, but I think YouTube is just so big that it is like impossible to beat. And so, I think we're pretty safe in, I guess going all in on YouTube. But we also don't necessarily just want to stay on YouTube. Like we're willing to help businesses as well with their content creation.
Yeah, I feel like content creation really is the future of advertising in general. Like on social media, I feel like the traditional hey, come and buy our product. I don't know if that works anymore. And we were talking about this as we were, driving home from an errand yesterday. We were like, what, I as a consumer, if someone comes up to me and is like, hey, I'm going to sell you my product, I don't know if that's as effective as it used to be. Whereas if I'm on YouTube And I've been watching my favorite creators for some of them a decade. Like some of these people I look at that I watch, I've been watching since I was an early teenager, which is super fun to like have seen them grow up. But I'm way more likely to, if they're like, hey, here's this awesome thing that because you watch me, you're going to be interested in this because I'm interested in this. Here's this awesome thing that I'm going to recommend. And me as a consumer, I'm like, oh yeah, I want that. Like that makes sense for me. So I think just advertising and the consumption of media, it's all moving towards the YouTube and social media space. And YouTube kind of is the king, especially with like long form content. I think short form content has shaken it up a little bit, but where it comes to long form content or just the searchability of YouTube also, it definitely has remained king for over a decade at this point, which is cool.
Yeah, in terms of video.
Yeah, in terms of video, for sure.
Yeah. So, and hopefully going back to a little bit about what this show is for, hopefully this will be something useful for anyone at any stage in their YouTube or creator journey, whether you're at 1 million subscribers or 100 subscribers, hopefully you'll be able to listen to something and apply something that you heard to your own channel or journey.
Yeah. Or maybe you've got 5 million subscribers, but you're not getting the views that you feel like you should be at 5 million subscribers. I feel like that's an issue I see over and over and over with YouTubers all over, is just that engagement rate too. That's kind of the new king. It's dethroning the subscriber count. Because you can have a ton of subscribers, but if your engagement's not there, then, I feel like that's the true test of how successful a YouTube channel is.
Yeah. So that's pretty much it for this first episode. Thank you so much for listening. We're excited to continue releasing episodes for this show. We should be, for the time being, releasing episodes every other Friday for the foreseeable future. So stay tuned for those. And if you're interested in learning more about us or what we do, you can check us out on YouTube at Creators Uncut, or our business is Creator Lux, which you can find on all the social media platforms. This podcast will also be on all of the regular, podcast platforms if you prefer to listen to it as well. So again, thank you so much for listening, and we will see you in the next episode.